That's the kind of stuff I look at. There's a good YouTube channel. It's called Ron Paul. It's RP4409. The guy that puts that on is, he makes some good videos.
So you're a fan of Ron Paul?
Oh, big time fan of Ron Paul. I think he's as far as I can think of off the top of my head right now, he's the only honest politician we've ever had. The only one that's, cares anything about obeying his oath to the Constitution. And as far as I know, he has a perfect voting record, constitutional voting record. So.
Well, exactly. I mean, Dennis Kucinich, you can like him because he's real and because he actually does what he says he'll do, and he makes some good stands. But then he wants our guns.
He doesn't see the big picture.
Yeah, I mean, he's a true believer, but he's really dangerous in that respect. And then you've got Cynthia McKinney, who will expose government white slavery rings and corruption and some of the bad things Israel's doing with the Zionism and things. But then she also wants our guns. Now, I like Cindy Sheehan. She finally gets it and says, yeah, we have a tyrannical government. We shouldn't have any gun control. Somebody like Cindy Sheehan's a real person. She's come a long way in her process. But I don't understand how anybody wouldn't understand. Fundamentally, we need to all be armed.
Absolutely.
Well,
if you're a good, honest person, wouldn't you want to be armed? Well, I mean, the bad guys have guns. If you're a good, honest person and you know you'd never harm anybody that wasn't trying to harm you, why not stack the odds in our favor and go out and learn how to learn some gun safety and get yourself some guns? And why not?
Chris, what would you like to say to CNN and others that are posting these questions for the audience of, is Chris and these people basically, are they terrorists? They're coming out and saying, and then by extension, oh, look, they've got guns. Are they terrorists? And then they expand that to, oh, my gosh, these evil people, should they be arrested? Should the Tea Party people, should the town hall people be arrested? They're now openly saying this. The Southern Poverty Law Center is now openly coming out and saying we're going to be violent, saying we're the terrorist. What would you like to say to CNN?
Well, I guess I would say that, in my opinion, the term terrorist today is used to is applied to people that are just resisting occupation, resisting oppression. So that's what I'm doing. So if that's what I am, that's what I am. But I mean, I have no intention to harm anybody that's not attacking me. Anything, my weapons are for defense. They're not for defending myself from criminals, because honestly, I haven't really been a victim of much crime in my life. I've been a victim of government crime from the state. But that's what my guns are for, is to pretend. That's what the Second Amendment was written for. It was written to protect people from the government. It was so that when they get out of control, we can, do what we have to do, any means necessary to stop them from controlling us.
Any means necessary. That's the Malcolm X quote. So you believe in that? I
absolutely believe in that. Absolutely. You're only as free as you're willing. I say this to people, and it sounds kind of extreme, but you're only as free as you're willing to, pull a trigger. That's as free as you are. But when you pick the line where you're willing to pull a trigger, that's how free you are.
Well, it is the willingness. That's what our founders did, and that's why FEMA. Have you ever seen the footage we got from a fireman of FEMA in Kansas City teaching police and firemen that the founders were bad and that America's bad?
No, I haven't seen that. You mean you find so much stuff that's like getting into all of it. It'd be like a full-time job, man. You're exposing so much stuff.
Well, no, I'm backing up what you're saying. I mean, you've seen the DHS report we broke and the MIAC report where they say gun owners, period, and returning vets are what Homeland Security's main mission is. I mean, we knew day one this was set up for the American people. Now they just admit it. I say they're the terrorist.
Yeah, they're just trying. They're trying to. In fact, I don't know if this is even true, but I read some definition on the term terrorist that it was originally meant to apply to like governments attacking their own people.
Yes.
I mean, I haven't done much more research. I got to look into it more. But I mean, what else is there to say? If that's really what the true definition of it is, then I don't know.
Well, it's really a travesty that so many people don't understand the basics of liberty. But at the same time, are you buoyed? I mean, are you excited? Are you seeing a huge awakening taking place?
Oh, I'm actually, I don't know. There's like a lot of different feelings. One thing I'm definitely disappointed in is the majority of the Second Amendment movement. For a long time I thought the pro-gun crowd was the crowd that kind of got it a little bit, and I'm coming to the realization that most people in the Second Amendment movement, they're not really for gun rights. They're not really for defense. They don't really understand what the real purpose of the Second Amendment was. They're just gun enthusiasts. They're like people that collect Beanie Babies. They collect guns instead, and they could care less. They want a government that's going to allow them to have guns. But if the government ever says no, they're not going to do anything. They're just going to hand them right over, and they're basically worthless. They contribute nothing. They're just in the way. If you want to be a part of a real Second Amendment, a group that stands up for your right to protect yourself with firearms, there's groups like Gun Owners of America, AZCDL, JPFO. These are like the real gun groups. The NRA, has done a lot because they're so big, but they're not really. That's like the beginner. That's like where if you're into guns and you're kind of a beginner in the Second Amendment movement, that's where the beginners go. When you want to elevate things, you go to the other groups.
Well, it's worse than that. I finally got Gun Owners of America to come out with the history and the documents that they had and we had, because the NRA were founded by the federal government. The NRA actually supported the 68 Gun Control Act, the basis of the nightmare we live under today, that they've expanded the NICS and all the rest of this registration. So they're actually a Judas goat. How do you get 150 million gun owners to give up their rights? You have a group that claims they represent you that leads you to the slaughter.
Exactly. And those are the same people that are coming out against me. I've been a lifelong NRA member. I don't need to hear anything else you have to say because I know what your position is. You're an enthusiast. You're not an activist.
Well, they do like to ninny around. I remember they had a bill in 1998 in the Texas legislature. It was in the Dallas Morning News. And we were fighting it again in 2000, next time it was in session. And the bill would ban junior shooting sports in Texas, shut down private transfer. They call it gun show loophole, but it wouldn't let me sell a gun to my neighbor or buy a gun for my dad or anything. And would create, all this many times worse than the 68 Gun Control Act. And the NRA wasn't sending lobbyists, and I was down there with the hundreds of people. There'd be 300 of us to speak against it. They'd have 4 paid guys playing the race card. They got, gang-banging type black guys to come up and go, we're dangerous, we're gang members, we can buy guns cheap and do stuff. And then the liberals brought them out and paid them off in the hall. I went and got video of it. They were using the black guys as like a race car. Oh, look, scary black people. They've got guns. You want to ban them. Wouldn't let our 300 people speak. But luckily I caught the bribery. And then the NRA attacked us in the Dallas Morning News and said we were extreme, that they were neutral on the gun bills. So, see, they are actually a vicious anti-gun group. See, they'll put out rhetoric, they're for it, Chris. But then when it comes time to actually do something, that's when you find out they're agents.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. All I know is all their members are opposed to what I did, and all the real gun groups are applauding me. AZCDL, wants to give me an honorary life membership. I mean, these are the real pro-gun groups, the no-compromise gun groups. If the NRA was doing its job and really educating all of its members, the gun debate wouldn't even be an issue. There would be no gun debate in this country.
We got 150-plus million gun owners, 400 million guns. We rule this country. It's ours.
Exactly. If it wasn't for these weak, these people that are sugarcoating everything and sending this weak little message, no compromise. We can't compromise at all on this.
Let's take a call from Jenny in Idaho. You're on the air with Chris, a modern American hero for the Second Amendment. Go ahead.
Chris, you're my hero.
Wow.
Thanks to you, I am wearing my gun now, out in public. I'm in an open carry state. And Alex, I want to know, when do I get my Chris T-shirt that says, protect your Second Amendment, show me your gun?
Well, I mean, there's so many great T-shirt ideas.
I don't want to be on the T-shirt, no.
You don't want to be on the T-shirt, Chris?
No, I don't want to be on T-shirts. No.
CNN's already using you for their anti-gun agenda, so you might want to go on CNN or Fox. Jenny, hold on one second. We'll go back to you. You might want to go on these channels just with talking points and just stick to those, but only agree to do it live so they can't edit you. Because right now they're only going one way with it. But I guess at the end of the day, you're getting your info out, so it doesn't matter. But Jenny, go ahead.
I'd like to challenge everybody in an open carry state to start wearing their guns.
I'd like to challenge everybody that's not in an open carry state to go wear your guns. And if you have to group together to do it and do it in large numbers, then do it that way. But
well, people should be. The reason I say it takes a lot of courage, and he's a hero, and the fella in New Hampshire is too, is because the government will try to provocateur, especially if they know it's a predestined event. And I would look for them to try something, but we can't not go out and engage them and demand our rights by exercising them. Rights are not given; they're taken.